Welcome to Rosewood. Thank you all for joining us today. What an exciting day to have you all with us to hear about where AI is headed, where technology is headed, how talent transformation is going to happen in the industry. But before that, for those history buffs over here, I would leave you with one question. Are we in US or are we in UK today? So a small caveat, this building used to be the US Embassy till last year. And some of you actually ended up going to the wrong Rosewood and then have to come back, but, well, we can debate it over the tea breaks. First and foremost, I would like to thank you all for joining us. What you see are who is represented here, who's who in the world. Some of the largest tech companies in the world, to largest telcos, to largest healthcare institutions, pharma, mining, you name it. I mean, you all are representing. And this is not a coincidence. This does not happen by chance. This is because you are the leaders in the world of talent. All of us keep talking about that talent is important. Are we paying a lip service to that, or do we really believe in it? And if anyone has any doubt, they should look at this and be like, this is the reason why these companies are doing so well, because they believe in talent. And we are so fortunate and humbled that you all have trusted us with your most important thing, again, the talent. As an entrepreneur, when you start your journey, 10 years back, I and Varun started Eightfold. To be honest, we had no idea what is HR. I will be the first to acknowledge I didn't even know what is an applicant tracking system, what is a HRIS. What I did know is that talent is important. And career is important for everyone. Someone took a chance on me to give me a job, and because of which I am today who I am. But not everyone is that lucky. So our thesis was that, can we help enterprises hire the right people, and can we help everyone get the right career based on their potential, not just based on what the certain keywords on their resume. And 10 years in, I'm so excited to share with you all like how different companies, some of the largest companies across the globe, have adopted our talent acquisition and talent management solution to fundamentally transform how they hire, bring the right workforce in, how they grow and develop that workforce, how they retain the talent, how as this talent grows, the organizations improve, they evolve, and they are able to deliver their business outcomes. So thank you all for that, and you will be hearing from many of these folks today in the audience about what we are doing in this space. And it's just not that. They are actually getting the real results. One of the results that I'm super excited about is 9 million people have gotten hired through Eightfold Talent Acquisition offering till date. A big round of applause for that. Frankly, this one number is what makes it all worth it. Long nights, long days, long weeks, you don't even know where days start and where days end. But if we are able to impact the life of even one person, we have achieved our outcome. And here we are talking about 9 million plus people. So thank you for that. Now, in the spirit, with AI, everything is changing. One thing that kept coming back over the last 2 years was how AI is going to change my organization. What skills will be there? What skills won't be there? What is the potential of AI in my organization? Who is adopting it? Who is not? And how can I help the people who are not adopting AI to better be equipped to adopt the AI? So in that spirit, we are introducing workforce readiness. As we took the feedback from you, and Sachit and Varun will talk about it, how workforce readiness is now available to you to better understand your talent, AI understanding of your organization. Next. And this is actually a very fascinating one. Last year, when I was here, we talked about introducing AI interviewer, how AI can start conducting the interviews. And what is very interesting about this is, when we started the company, again, roughly 9 years back, the technology was just not there. So what we had to do is rely on how the data is coming from different channels. We analyze the data of more than 1 billion people across the globe to understand their career trajectories, how they have moved from one job to another, one education to another, one skill to another, to understand their learnability of skills. And we use that to better match them to the right careers. But over the last 2 years, everything changed. As AI improved, we now have an ability to engage those candidates in conversation. So we said that, okay, if we can do that, how about AI start interviewing these people? Now, normally we would think about this, especially in this audience, as this is a solution for recruiters to bring more efficiency over there, right? You can have screening done in the real time. But the real truth is, what it enables is for a candidate to interview at 9 p.m. on Friday or 9 a.m. on Monday at the leisure, at the comfort, at their time and calling. Now, just think about it, right? If you yourself are interviewing for a job, and suddenly you're having cold, cough, fever, what do? Do you cancel the interview? Do you move it around? So hard with humans involved in the loop, right? With AI interviewer, it all happens seamlessly. And as a result, now the candidate satisfaction score is off the charts. It's not only you as enterprises who are adopting it at scale. Today, tens of thousands of interviews are being conducted through AI interviewer. But more importantly, candidates are loving it. The feedback that we are hearing from them is just phenomenal. And some enterprises have hired people in less than a day because of that. Less than a day. Let that sink in. But then why stop at screening? What about the behavioral assessment? What about the functional assessment? What about the coding assessment? What about the assessment that is required for your enterprise because your enterprise is unique? So with that in mind, we have introduced Interview 360. What it means is that a candidate can go through the entire full round of interviews all in one sitting, in 2 sittings of their choosing. So from the time of application to the time the interview is done, it can be just 2 hours. And now you have all the data to analyze that, understand that. So that is all available to you today. Outside there are the demonstrations, and you can go and see that. Now, as you're looking at that, you all are wondering, the pace of change is extraordinary. And is it the first time? And you talk about like AI revolution, all these changes happening, all these things becoming, the art of possibility is just insane, right? Enormous. But this is not the first revolution. Industrial revolution happened. Digital revolution happened. Everyone, Bill Gates talked about computer at every desk, that happened. Then you talked about the mobile revolution. We talked about the cloud revolution. But every revolution till date was about, or especially in the tech industry, was about what software, what technology is being built. Over the last 8 years, as we brought things to you, it was all about what we can do. But for the first time, it is not about innovation through software development, it is the innovation in software development. Now, what does that mean? And frankly, I was hearing a little bit about this. You know, you might have all heard of Cloud Code and Codex and all kind of things, and Gemini and Cursor and kind of things, right? But sometimes things just don't register. And they were not registering to me. I was like, I don't know what this really means. So one day, what happened is that I come home around 3.5 months back, and like any other dad, by the way, I have my 2 props here sitting, my mini-me's. And you know, like any typical parent, right? I hate it when they play video games, and they can't stop playing video games. So we have strict rules, which are rarely followed. But anyway, I come home, and this young one, this dude, is playing a new video game. It was a pretty fancy video game, and especially the things that I don't like in it, all the shooting going on, and all the guns, and all kind of things that I say no to. And here he is playing a new video game, so I start complaining, who got him the new video game? I went to my wife, and she's like, no, I didn't. And then I went to my elder one, he's like, no, I didn't buy it for him. The interesting reality was this 8-year-old created an app using Cursor in a couple of hours on a weekend. That is when it sunk. What does that mean? When I was doing my undergrad, I spent a year building a lighting model to see how an object can be displayed on a screen. And here he was in a couple of hours building an entire video game with all the functionality the way he wanted. Whether it is the leaderboard, whether it is the guns, whether it is shooting, whether it is the reward system, whether it is the bells and whistles and the music and everything that goes with it. Have we really entered the world of SaaSpocalypse? Like you all buy the software, SaaS, software as a service, are we going to stop buying the software? Is software going to cease to exist? Because what is the value of software if an 8-year-old can build it on a weekend? But I personally think that we are entering the golden age of software. The world is going to look very different in the coming years. And what do I mean by that? How many of you over here love shopping? Come on, you all can raise your hands. Especially when you are in London, you shop, right? I know many of our folks who are visiting from US, they have plans. Tomorrow, if you don't see them in the afternoon, they are out shopping. But more interestingly, how many of you love standing outside those fitting rooms to try out, see whether you fit in the size small, medium, or large? God has not created us in these 3 sizes. I wish at the time of the birth I could have checked the boxes. I want this one to be in the size small and this one to be in the size medium. But I cannot. What has made world a beautiful place is that we have come in all shapes and sizes, all colors, all kind of different things. So these 3 sizes just don't fit us. They just don't. And as a result, all of us have a wardrobe full of clothes that don't fit us. So we go to these fitting rooms. We have this fancy shirt that we really like. We try it out, but it rarely fits. So we have to go with the second option or the third option or the fourth option, right? Or the alternate is, if you can afford it, you go to a custom tailoring shop. You get yourself measured. You spend lots of money, few £100 maybe, to get your custom tailored suit. And you have to wait for a month maybe for that. And that is actually the reality of your organizations as well. If you just take your organization, what has made you super successful? We have friends over here today from Vodafone and Deutsche Telekom and many other telcos. They didn't start by saying that, you know what, let's replicate Vodafone as it is, or let's replicate Deutsche Telekom as it is. Or we have various pharma companies or tech companies like Microsoft and NVIDIA, and they don't say that, let's just replicate another company as it is. They understood the unique problem a set of the world needed, a unique solution that was needed for them, a unique approach to solve those problems. But unfortunately, the SaaS vendors came to in and said that we have one software, you can buy it, take it or leave, and then adjust your organization around my software. So even though you're solving a unique problem in a unique way, you want to provide unique value to your customer base, you have to live with that one unique solution that we are offering you. And yes, if you want to configure it, no worries. You have to just spend 2 years for all the implementation and get in the line for all the ERs. And the reality is that you have length installation, fragmentation, bloated systems. How many of you over here have more than 50 HR tech systems? 70, 100, you can show your hands. We have some customers who have more than 150 different HR tech systems. Because no one system fits and solves all their needs. That is the unfortunate reality. So what if the way I'm getting my suit custom tailored? If I can get that software custom tailored for me, the world will look very, very different. Without spending, though, that large amounts of money and those months to get it custom tailored. So what do I do? Okay, I was coming hot out of this experience with my son building, vibe coding his app. Around 3 months back in our office, I saw On Monday morning, we have few folks from our India office visiting in US, from our HR team. And I was like, why are you all here? Just in the morning greeting. And they're like, oh, Ashu, we are here to deploy HRIS over next 1 month. We have been working on the integration, implementation for last 9 months. It's all going well, and now in a month, we'll be ready to deploy it. So in a typical, those of you who are from Eightfold will know this, right? In a typical Ashu's style, I was like, Shuvi, do you want to try building an HRIS system from scratch? And Shuvi is somewhere here in the audience. And I wish I had a video camera on that day to record her facial expression as I said that. She was like, what are you talking about, Ashu? I'm like, this Claude code, I'm sure you know about it, Shuvi, right? So why don't you try this out? My son has done this thing. You should be able to do it, right? It's all doable. It's easy. So our HRIS journey started. For the first 2 days, there were a lot of questions, concerns, comments, really the reality of why it cannot be done. It's core HR system. It's a system of record. Our business will depend on that. We need security, we need compliance, we need scalability, complex workflows, deep understanding of how HR systems work. But sometimes the simplest thing you can do is, I'm not taking no for an answer. Please give it a try. So let's see what they have built. This all got done. Shubi, can you stand up? So if you don't believe me, you should ask her if she has some special degree in AI and computer science and God knows what. Or she just took a chance. She was like, okay, let me humor Ashu. See what is the art of possibility. And this all got done. And if anyone of you like it, you can ask her to build it for you. So really the question is, if my son can do it, if Shubi, our HR team, can do it, how can we help you do it? The world is no longer the same. World is no longer what we envisioned 10 years back or 2 years back even. In fact, last year when I was on the stage, we talked a lot about all kinds of agents. But since then, the world has changed. Till that time, we were talking about innovation with what we can do with software, what we can do with technology. We are no longer talking about that. We are talking about how software gets built in the first place. If your organization is unique, how can we help you achieve that outcome? So with that, I'm super excited to introduce you to Talent Forge. Talent Forge is the new offering from Eightfold available to you. It's to enable you to have the HR technology that just does not keep the light on. It's not about, okay, does it work? Do I have the basic plumbing in the home or not? It's really about HR that drives business. A custom-tailored solution for you. Now, here is the magic word. By you. You know your organization best. How can we help you do it? And those of you who are wondering, the foundation of this is trust matters. People's livelihood depends on you because, you run that organization, you run the payroll, you run the benefits, you run the entire HR tech stack, right? So the system that you are going to build is going to be reliable, it's going to be scalable, it's going to be compliant, all kind of things. Now, here's a back story. As we thought about it, it's like, is it real? Will it work? But most importantly, how will you all react to it? So, okay, our HR team has built it. My son has built it. So 2.5 months back, some of us were here in Germany, meeting one of our favorite customers, Deutsche Telekom. So in the morning, I and Varun were having the breakfast. We were brainstorming. We're like, who better than to ask our customers to see, does this make sense? So we quickly coined this term, Talent Forge. We put these slides together. We were like, okay, let's go to Norman and see what his reaction is going to be. Here's an idea. Are you on board with us? Does this make sense? Are you going to be excited? Are you going to adopt it? Or is it, Ashu, get out of here. This is not what we want to talk about, right? So let me welcome Norman on the stage to tell this story.
It's a beautiful day. Sky falls, your feet. It's a beautiful day.
So for you all, Norman is the head of HR IT at Deutsche Telekom, one of the largest telcos in the world. So would love to first, if you can tell us more about Deutsche Telekom.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ashu, for having me on stage today. Yeah, good morning. Telling the audience a bit about Deutsche Telekom. So we're a global telco and IT operator. So we have around 200,000 people worldwide. We operate in over 50 companies and countries. So therefore, there's a huge complexity in Deutsche Telekom. Our ambition is to be leading in whatever we do. That holds true for our networks. Hope many of you are customers of Deutsche Telekom, or in your country we might be known as T-Mobile in the US or OTE Group in Greece. So they all belong to Deutsche Telekom, and our ambition is to be leading in whatever we do, and that holds true for HR as well. So how have we dealt maybe in the past with those complexity in our HR system? So 10, 20 years ago, right, we invested millions and millions in customizing on-prem software. I think many of you did the same, right? Then the SaaS providers came and they told us, no, you need to do it the other way around. This is what the software can do. You need to re-engineer all your processes to fit it into the SaaS software. And I think many of you, especially the larger enterprises, will agree with me. That never really felt very good. Yeah, going back to your clients to say, no, we need to do it the other way around because the software now tells us how we need to operate. So with all the vibe coding, my team came and said, no, Norman, we can build it now all ourselves. So in my head, the problem was, how do I control now all of my teams? Everyone will start building on their own stack, their own piece of software. How does it fit together? So when you came 2.5 months ago to Bonn and telling me the idea about Talent Forge, it was exactly the moment what we needed. Having a reliable core, having all the APIs managed, having a performance system in place that is performing, or a piece of software in place that is performing well, that is secure, but where we can actually build our own piece of software on top, our own UI for our users and the processes that we need.
Frankly, the way I've looked at it, especially in the early days of any startup, early days of the product development, it is not about data. You barely have any data. People say that, oh, you're a data person, look at the data, do the surveys, all kind of things. You just don't have that. But what you have is few trusted partners that you can pick up the phone and call. And thank you all for being that there for us. And you look in their eyes and you see that excitement. And in that moment, you know, is this real or not? So Norman, do you want to share what you have built?
Yes, absolutely. So as we are already a customer of yours for TA, TM, talent tracking, resource management, right? Our people anyway spend lots of time in Eightfold. The performance talks that they have, we always say skill needs to be part of those performance talks, but skill management is done in Eightfold, performance management so far is done in a different system. So therefore you have the clash for the user again, okay, I need to now go in there, document the skills, discuss with my employees the skills, and then I go to a different system and noting down development plans and performance management. So the idea is we bring both together and we build a performance management system within Eightfold, exactly tailored to the process as we need it, because you can imagine Germany wants it this way, the US wants it that way, Greece wants it a different way. So it's quite complex, but we have sit down together with your team to say, this is how we imagine it, this is how we want it, tested it with some users. Yeah, and what should I say? 2 months later, we have a running piece of software.
Wow. What an amazing story, Norman, right? In 2 months or barely less than 2 months, going from nothing to have a performance management system. And frankly, that tells me this is not the story of Talent Forge. This is not the story of Eightfold. This is what has made Deutsche Telekom NV for everyone. A 200,000 person company innovating faster than most companies in the world. Bringing the innovation, because performance management is about culture. It is about your people. It is about your unique processes. It's not a generic piece of software that you can just deploy. I doubt even one of you is excited about your current performance management system because it does not map to your own culture. So thank you, Norman. This is such an exciting story.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you, Ashu. Thank you.
So Norman was excited. What do I do next? Okay, maybe there's an enterprise which is excited, but let me call one of the largest implementation company. How are they going to react? So my next call was to Deloitte. And Manoj, who is the head of the technology for human capital practice at Deloitte. Manoj, we are thinking about Talent Forge. What is your reaction? And guess what? In 2 weeks, they ended up building the entire custom recruiting experience for Deloitte. And Manoj spoke at our Cultivate event in US couple of weeks back. But then as we spoke about Talent Forge in our US event, right? one thing that came about was you guys have launched Interview 360, AI interview, but with AI, one thing that is happening is fraud. Almost 1 in 4 profiles will be fake in the coming year or two. But when we think of fraud, what each and every one of us thinks is different. The way it impacts the financial services institutions is very, very different than the way it impacts the medical institutions, which is very different from the way it impacts the telcos. And we no longer have to build one solution for all. So we have built various APIs around fingerprinting, signature understanding, voice fingerprinting, and those things. And now with Talent Forge, you can build an entire fraud detection system that works for your enterprises the way you want it. Many of you might have seen this MIT study which said that barely 5% of the companies are getting ROI from their AI investment. Well, of course, right? I mean, you throw in some software and hope for the best. You don't even realize where your employees are spending the time, where the resources are going. So what you can do is, you can adopt the workforce readiness, or if you want, you can build on top of it, using Talent Forge, to actually build a system that helps you understand the ROI of AI in your organization, to understand what are the biggest opportunities, what tools to deploy, what process to morph and change, what is the process intelligence of your organization, so that you can get the best value out of the AI solutions that you're deploying, or you can prioritize the next deployment. And the list was endless, what we heard. So would love to hear from you all. What is it that you will want to build, right? So here is my ask. You don't have to reinvent the whole thing. What is working for you all? Amazing. What you have already invested in is fine. But the pace of the change is extraordinary. Your organization for next year is going to look very different from the organization of today. I don't know whether software engineer role will exist next year or not, but what I do know is that if it were to exist, it will look completely different from the role of today. So everything in HR is going to change. But one thing that is certain is, as far as organizations have people, all of us are needed. So our job is secure. Now what we have to do is make sure everyone else's job is secure as well. Everyone is able to grow, develop themselves. So my ask to you all is pick something that you have always wanted, something that you always dreamed of, something that can help your organizations deliver the results it is supposed to, right? Because frankly, you are the builders of the future. The future depends on you. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for all the excitement. Thank you.